What's going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with the Indie Breakdown, the show that breaks down your favorite indie comic book characters, power stats, and abilities, and gets them ready for an indie versus matchup. We are back with episode 1 of season 5, if you could believe it or not. So, not going to do a long bit. Of course, in case anybody is not aware, we do have a Facebook group, Indie Breakdown /versus. Gonna get things back rolling in there, but that's a spot where you can chat with all the creators that are in there, learn something from one another, link up and do some collaborations, all the good stuff. But of course, the icebreaker, talk versus matches, but also learn about inspirations from one another. Learn what went into these characters and kind of express what your goals are with those characters. So yes, it is a versus matchup place, talk mess and all that other stuff. But more than anything, it's an opportunity for creators and potential fans and communities to come together in one spot, get to learn from one another, and of course, an easy spot for everybody to support one another. So more on that later. Of course, we do have indiebreakdown.com for you to check out all the previous episodes, all the amazing creators that have come before, and the breakdowns of those characters. We've also started building out a database from people that are actually in the group previously mentioned. So definitely check all those wonderful things out at indiebreakdown.com. And again, more on that later. But more importantly, right now, the reason why we're here, we're going to be talking to another amazing creator. I'm going to bring him up and let him introduce himself, the company, and of course, the characters that we're going to be talking about on the breakdown today. What's going on, Chief?
Hey, how you doing, Lloyd? My man, good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Likewise. So let the people know what character you bring in and let them know your name and company, of course, as well.
Of course. My name is Ethan Murphy of Echelon Graphic Novels, or AKA the poor man's Lloyd Jones.
Stop.
Okay, the lower income Lloyd Jones. Yeah, I am like I said, I'm with Echelon Graphic Novels, and we've been in business for about roughly around 13 years. It was a very, very small up and coming business. We debuted our first book at the Awesome Con, the very first Awesome Con in 2013.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm obviously friends with you and your wife.
Yes.
So yes, this is cool.
Okay. And man, kudos on that, dude. That's a lot of, this is a tough journey. being in this field, it's tough. So to make it past 5 years, 10 years, so on and so forth, man. Now that's kudos to y'all. So keep up the good work, dude.
Appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot of odd jobs, side jobs here, but yeah, my main job, my passion, of course, same as you and your wife, is to make stories, and it's always fun to see how far they can go, see if they actually reach an audience. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Stuff. So let us know then, who are you bringing with you said 13 years, with 13 years in the game?
Yeah, 13 years.
What characters are you bringing to the breakdown today?
Of course. So for the one I thought would be the most fitting for this particular scenario, you want me to show you the picture of them, or are you good as on your end?
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. We can edit it as such and add it on there if necessary.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So the characters are Slate and Ash. They are from our flagship series entitled Slate and Ash. Basically, it's kind of Slate and Ash, the story of a cop and a zombie. Long story short, the two main characters were originally kind of inspired by the dynamic of Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan in the Rush Hour series. Okay. A pair of unlikely allies having to come together to do something together. In this particular scenario as well, the cop character, Ash, is very much obviously like Chris Tucker's character, although his design came straight from Huey from the Boondocks, because I'm still a huge Boondocks fan. I literally sent an image of Huey Freeman to my artist. This is many, many, many years ago. And I said, make this character, if he was 25 to 30 years old, how he'd look. And he said, done. And so that's how the character came from him for Ash. His name is Ash. And then for Slate is meant to be essentially, because he's the undead zombie-esque character. And his character was meant to be directly based off of if Fraser Crane from Cheers became a zombie, but he had the abilities of Jackie Chan and like Rumble in the Bronx, able to free run and do all kinds of scrambling. Because obviously you've seen playing Jackie Chan movies. In most Chan Man movies, he's not trying to be a superhero over the top, badass. He's trying to survive. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the same way this guy handles himself.
Okay. And before he was a zombie, what was he doing?
He's a doctor. not to get too hard into the spoilers or what have you, but he is
Mhm.
in this world. The quote unquote the zombies are essentially they're undead beings that were hit by a disease,
Mhm.
the fallout of a disease, and it only hits males essentially.
Yeah.
And he's one of the doctors who's trying to find a cure for this predicament, so to speak. And things go horribly, horribly, horribly wrong, and he ends up as one himself. He still retains his intelligence, but a lot of other things do change about him.
So and I don't know if Charlie told you this. I love to take notes during, just in preparation, of course, for the breakdowns and stuff. So if you see me looking away, I'm jotting down what you're explaining about the character here. So no disrespect.
No, no, of course, of course. I did some research. Of course, I saw some of the other interviews you've done before, so this is not a surprise. Yeah,
Okay, that. So with that being said, off rip. So anybody that's watching, as you guys have known throughout the course of the series so far, and of course with the creation of the group, we created our own tiering system, or you'll hear me say created our own power scaling system, if you would. And so, two of the ones that we're going to discuss today, as it relates to Slate and Ash, well, nothing really too long to explain because we want to get down to the actual power, the stats proper. But with Ash, he's just a cop. He's a regular guy, right?
yes, for the
Oh,
most part. There's one caveat to the character is, of course, the weapon he uses.
okay.
Uh, that particular firearm is able to it because of the way it's set up, the way his father built it for him in a post-apocalyptic world to take on all kinds of creatures and monsters. It doesn't just fire regular, handgun ammo. It actually fires different types of, whether they be grenade launchers, whether it be kind of like napalm shots, things, that type of stuff. It is like a trick shot firearm, so that it gives him a bit of an edge over regular baddies.
Okay. Noted. But he himself, he's not enhanced. He doesn't have any extra going on with him.
No, he
Okay.
is but a mortal man. Yeah.
So with that being said, our scaling system goes from 1 to 10, 10 being the initial tier. And funny example, now, I gotten on several people's nerves. We've done this on a panel now. And we tier 10 is baseline, right? So that scales from anyone from Foggy Nelson to Batman himself. And people are like, he's at the bottom. As we go through the tiering system, you'll realize that it doesn't matter necessarily on this tiering system where they lay, right? Because when we get to the stats, that's where it really kind of comes down to it, right? Sake of conversation again for those that are listening as well. Tier 6 is supernatural, right? Okay, so that's anyone from Dr. Fate to Doctor Strange and anybody in between, Constantine, Zatanna, so on and so forth, right? But we've seen Batman overcome characters that they faced off against, or even then themselves, right? So don't worry so much about the number. It's really helping others understand who and what the character is. So anyway, wanted to preface there. So without getting into 10A, 10B, 10C, and all this other stuff, definitely assuming Ash, being a regular guy, does have some training, of course, we'll dive into, but he'd be baseline, he'd be tier 10. But Slate, as it relates to our scaling system, it was an accident, it was a scientific means, it was a disease, it was some kind of alternative means that was outside of their control, not something he was born with. For us, that'd be meta powers. Again, example, that would be Flash, that would be, Spider-Man, these characters that were not born with these abilities. However, an accident, some kind of scientific means, some kind of external force gave them those abilities. So Slate in this case, again, cross-referencing by us watching indiebreakdown.com, but Slate in this case would tier 8 would be meta powers. So with that being said, let's start with Slate first. What kind of what kind of strength are we talking about?
Sure. So probably the most comparable or most comparable level of strength is something like Captain America. As far as it is meant to be peak human athleticism,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where it almost seems slightly supernatural. It's not like he of course can't like do anything overwhelming, but he is a lot stronger than a regular person. He's a lot faster than a regular person.
Okay.
Also, his speed is greatly enhanced. All these things, and because it's a weird little a weird thing that's actually within the lore of the story, because he is technically undead. He doesn't need to rest or recover as much. So he's able to run for a longer period of time, jump higher without getting fatigued or tired. He can also take more damage without having to worry about that as much either.
Okay. So, okay. Before I do have questions about the speed here. With that being said, in regards to that strength, then, so, you said probably Captain America-esque. I, in my notes, put peak plus, right? So it's just like peak human, but like there's definitely a little bit more on there. So lifting wise, I'm assuming he's able to lift a car pretty.
Probably, yeah, if need be. He doesn't really do that as much, but he probably could if need be.
Okay. And then safely, he's able to probably knock a wall down.
Yes, yeah. There's because he's meant to have the same kind of strength level more or less as the other zombies in the story. And part of the story is that they're kind of like Viltrumites in the sense that the longer they are alive, the stronger they get. I'm sure you're familiar with obviously Invincible. So the idea is we see another zombie in the story. They call him the big dog. He's meant to look like a reflection of the way the main character Slate will look several years down the road. He is much stronger because he's been around that much longer. But it's the same scale as far as they are both greatly stronger than regular humans. But Slate's a brand new zombie, so his strength isn't quite as strong as the other zombies who've been around longer than he has.
Okay, so let's get into that speed then. How fast is and of course we'll repeat all of this for Ash as well. But with that speed then, what kind of speed are we talking about? From what we've seen in the book, I know we're not talking speedster levels, right? But
no. Yeah, he can just run extremely fast, like probably the same speed as far as like maybe like a cheetah or something like that. Maybe a full blown cheetah, but he is, because again, he doesn't experience exhaustion or fatigue the way that regular people do, and his muscles are enhanced in of themselves. So if you're not getting tired and your body is a lot stronger, you can run a lot faster, move a lot faster, have faster twitch muscles, helping you move that much quicker.
Okay, so nearly as fast as a cheetah?
Nearly as fast as a cheetah. And of course, he doesn't get tired. He can run for a long time.
Okay. This is a cheetah. Okay. Ooh, this is gonna be cool. Okay, so I have some characters in mind off rip. So at the end of all this, when we get to episode 10, still working on previous season, but we want to make sure that we get this one going for something that we'll talk about closer to the end of the show. But at the end of all this, the plan is always bring everybody back and then have them do a creator clash. And so, ideally, you got Slate and Ash and whoever else. And I want to keep this season, or maybe even pair up last season and this season, because there's a lot more grounded characters, if you would, like not a lot of cosmic beings, if you would, right? And have them kind of duke it out. And there's a couple characters from last season I'm just like, this would be a good fight. Anywho, with him being a doctor, I'd like to know, how smart is he? And what is he a doctor? Where does he get his doctorate in? What kind of doctor is he?
So yeah, he's the doctor of biogenetic engineering, which may seem questionable, but long story short, it deals with understanding how the biology of with biology and physiology of all different types of living species. Again, he's trying to get in there and understand the genetic code and figure it out and kind of crack it, so he's able to manipulate it to figure out how to cure people that have varying levels of diseases. So he's highly intelligent.
Okay. Would he be inverse? Is he like kind of top of his field, or?
More or less. Again, this is set more or less in a post-apocalyptic time. Right. So it's not just a whole bunch of people like him running around. So he's an oddity or a rarity amongst these people as is. So he's pretty much typically he's going to be the smartest guy in the room, any room he goes into.
Okay. Smartest guy in the room. Okay.
And also, just by comparison to, he is in this world that they're in. It is slightly in the future. Of course, they're dealing with different types of things that we don't deal with. So if he was to have, say, for example, say a conversation with Batman, he would probably have just by the nature of the time that Slate existed, he would be aware of things that Batman doesn't know, essentially. So it's just being privy to different types of technology and different types of viruses that don't exist in the universes of other characters as much.
Okay, definitely heard then. And so, okay, with that being said then, back to physical here, durability.
Sure.
What kind of damage is Slate able to withstand?
And that's the weird thing is even though he is technically undead, once
Mhm.
they come back from death, their bodies are actually stronger. Part of it is too is I'm sure I forgot the name of the actual in our world. There's a real type of disability or not a disease, but there are people who don't feel pain this on the same level as we do. They usually
Okay,
have a shorter lifespan because things happen to them. These undead, they do feel pain, but again, they've come back from the dead, so it's on a much lesser degree. And also, their bodies are already, as opposed to decomposing, it's almost like their bodies are turning into just like the flesh itself is like no longer compromised. So their skin and everything else isn't enhanced necessarily,
mhm,
but it's on a way where it takes a stronger blow to really, really harm them.
okay,
For example, in this world, there's a reason that the cops run around with guns to fight them, and there's a reason why they don't have them. They don't need to have them at all. They just use their fists to fight. They're strong enough with their bare hands to take down people.
okay. So their skin's kind of reinforced then?
It's a little more reinforced. It's still pliable. Of course, you can still shoot them with enough impact to do damage to them, but they
Mhm.
are more or less they're definitely more durable than a regular person would be.
Let me
And
ask
again, the
this.
longer they live, the more durable they actually are.
Okay, so at Slate's current uh, 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 um, positioning, if you would he be able to tank, say, a shotgun round?
No, he couldn't. Not yet. He could not tank one. But there is one. Essentially, we kind of tease the idea that he's maybe to be the original, one of the first zombies.
Mhm.
The big dog, he can tank regular handgun fire. So if you try to hit him with a regular, say like if you have a revolver or what have you out, and you
Mhm.
try firing some 9mm shells at him, he'd be more or less okay with that.
Okay, Slate
There's
would
other
or the other guy?
the other guy, the big
Oh,
dog.
the big guy. Oh, okay, the
Yeah,
big
yeah,
dog.
Slate, not Slate. Slate could not handle that as much.
Mhm.
But it over the timeline down the road, he would be able to. With a few more years under his belt, he probably could handle a direct or somewhat of a shotgun shell from a decent range. It
Okay,
wouldn't kill him instantly.
okay, so at this point, don't try to stab him, but if you shoot him,
Yeah,
you're solid.
he definitely know it. He definitely know what happened. Yeah.
Okay. And now combat skill, being a bioengineer, I don't imagine he's a super martial artist or anything like that. Would he be like a brawler? Where is he at combat skill wise?
Right. Again, it's because part of what it is that he wasn't trained in any of the martial arts at all, and that kind of stuff. But it's a weird scenario because once he is diseased and his
Mhm.
body is so naturally athletic, so to speak.
Oh,
It's kind of like Steve Rogers back in the day when he first got the super soldier serum. He's
yes.
really clumsy on his feet, but he's still highly athletic with it. And the more time he spends using that body that he's in, of course, the better he gets at it. You get to something like obviously in the movies, like the Winter Soldier. By the time you get the Winter Soldier, he's kicking guys off
He's
boats, what
right,
have you. But in the first movie, he can't even run straight down a line. It's
right.
similar to that. So yeah, and
Chasing that taxi, he was just stumbling over.
it looked like me running into a taxi. Yeah, the
Stop.
first one. But
So,
so I mean, it's not that rough, not that crude. It is very much on instinct. It's kind of like, again like Jackie Chan, where he's able to navigate do all kinds of free running and that kind of stuff. But in his case, because he's so brand new to it, he's a little clumsy with it.
okay, okay. So with that, this might be a foolish question. I think we already know the answer to this. They don't have any kind of energy projection or anything like that.
No,
These are okay.
no, nothing like that. Yeah.
Um, Now agility. I know we kind of touched on that, but I want to know in this case when I ask about that, I'm thinking about you know, are they dodging bullets? Is it kind of projection dodging? You know what I'm saying? Like how are they swaying back and forth? Like what kind of stuff are they able to perceive?
Sure. They aren't necessarily. They're not like Neo in the Matrix, where they're able to dodge
Oh,
bullets. Or that kind of, yeah. It's not like that. It's not like that. More or less, it's as if you were to try to hit Usain Bolt with
ah,
with the actual blast from a gun or what have you, it's possible because he's just so fast he could dodge it on his own, more or less. But of course, to be able to see a bullet in real time and dodge it is very unlikely. So you stand a pretty good chance if you are trying to directly shoot them and they're unaware of it, you could tag them.
Okay.
If they're on a mad dash, there's a part in the story where Slate and Ash, again, they first meet each other. All Ash sees is a zombie, so he tries to shoot it, but because he's moving so fast, he's unable to shoot him. It's not he's directly dodging the bullets; he's just moving so fast it's hard to shoot a moving target.
Okay, perfect. So, last thing for Slate before we move on to Ash. Does he have any does he have a healing factor? Does he have like an enraged mode or anything like that where he can potentially get stronger sort of instantly? What else does he got going on?
Sure. Now he doesn't actually have any of those things. His healing factor isn't wired like like Wolverine or the Hulk or Deadpool, nothing like that. Part of it is that they don't feel pain as much as other people do, so he can kind of keep brawling and keep going longer than anybody else would be able to do it. He feels some pain, of course, but not nearly as much. And his body does heal, as even though he's undead, his body does heal at a pretty good rate.
Okay.
So for the most part, it's nothing. There's no real healing factor. It's more or less the idea that they don't mind pain as much as other people do.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, same conversation. A finger gets chopped off. Would that come back or no?
It wouldn't grow. It wouldn't regrow. It wouldn't regrow a finger. No.
Got you. But just the pain receptors are preventing them from stopping their attack if something. Oh no, his arm fell off. Okay, he's still chasing after you though.
You're still gonna keep going. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So now we got Ash. Let's so it's gonna be the same exact questions here. Of course, start strike speed. Let me jot that down on the back here. I've already taken out the entirety of my first page. So really quick with that, as I'm doing that, I know that you have something active right now as it relates to echelon graphic novels. If you'd like to dive in and let the people know what that is. The idea is to try to get this to our video editor to go ahead and get this out so that we can kind of maximize what you're about to inform us of.
I appreciate that, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, my man. So yeah, we do have a big campaign going on. I know you talked to Captain Diesel, aka Charlie. He's the co-owner of our company as well. We have a Kickstarter campaign going on now. We launched at the beginning of the month, at least the beginning of the month, roughly. And the campaign is called the thing we're trying to release is called Echelon Graphic Novels: The Gambit. Essentially, it has the first 5 issues of the 5 flagship books in our actual library. It has Slade and Ash is in there, a book called Blackmore about the world's first female mad scientist in a Victorian era England. It has Divine Influence, which is a book about, it's very much, if you're a fan of Avatar, The Last Airbender, and something like Dragon Ball Z, kind of combine those two together, and that's what you get from there. It's about angels battling demons to try to kill the reincarnation of God on Earth, so to speak. And then it seems something that Midnight Comics would actually do. It's very in line with your type of books. Yeah. Because I read some of your stuff as well.
Thank you.
Of course, yeah. I told you I'm a fan. I told you I am literally the poor man's, lesser income man, Lloyd Joe. So it's, yeah. If I'm old enough, if I'm lucky enough, I'd love to be you when I grow up. I'd love to do that.
Oh, thank you.
And then, of course, we also have Reaper in there. That's Charlie's debut comic. It's great, mate. Or Captain Diesel. It's his book. It's a great series. It's very much like Supernatural. Supernatural meets Bleach, the anime and manga Bleach. And then and then Briarlands. Briarlands, for the old heads out there, Briarlands is basically The Wire meets X-Men. The Wire TV show that was on HBO with Idris Elba and everything. Yeah. So it's meant to have a kind of a wide array of stories for people to enjoy. And then last but definitely not least, one of our interns, Bo Garcia. He actually has some books on webtoons, and there's one that he made that we actually have. He has free domain over. It's a series called The Traveler, and that particular series we're debuting that in the book as well, in the actual along the Gambit. And then we have one of our clients, Jacob, his series. We're doing a preview of the first act of that story in there as well. It's called Ashes Over Neon. It's pretty much like, if you can imagine, the vibe of cyberpunk meets the kind of the grit and grime of Arcane.
Ooh, okay. Y'all got some variety. Okay. Okay.
We try to mix it up. We try to have something for everybody.
Yeah.
At the same time, try to have any dip in quality. All the stories themselves are very. We try to keep them at the same level of that you'd appreciate, as even though they're indie books, we want them to feel like they're low budget, if that makes sense.
It absolutely makes sense. Okay. Fire. And how much longer? How long is the campaign going for?
I believe because it started at the beginning of May, so it should go in through, I guess, to the end of June, until the end of June.
Okay, plenty of time. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely have this out by then. Okay, bet. Okay. Well, with that being said, everybody in the idea, of course, editor's note, what have you, go ahead and make sure to put that link on there. Yeah, let's get this thing across the finish line. What's the goal for that Kickstarter, by the way? 6,000, right?
I believe 6,000, yes.
Okay.
And as of right now, today, recording, we're close to around 1,500.
Okay. So we're halfway to halfway.
Halfway. That's right. We're halfway.
Listen, hey, I tell you what, that's how we break it down. I'd be like, all right, what is halfway? What's another? We did 15. What's another 15? And now we have another 15. We literally are halfway. What's another 3? And so it's just, it keeps us going.
I love. No, you're right, my man. I love the positive thinking.
Oh yeah. So with that being said, let's learn more about the characters here. Let's get the second half. Let's talk about Ash now, the cop.
Sure.
What kind of strength are we talking? I mean, he's up against some crazy zombies that are not really necessarily feeling pain. What kind of strength is he talking about here?
Sure. So one thing, of course, he's obviously a trained officer, and they call it enforcers in this world. He's been trained since birth, basically, to actually battle these type of undead brutes or zombies. And also, he's a second generation enforcer. His mother was one before him. We always compare his mom to Viola Davis, as far as being like very from if you ever seen or heard of that series that she was on, that How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah, that's his mom's vibe to a T. And and his father was actually a weapons manufacturer, like a gunsmith essentially. So he has a very, very unique firearm. It's called the switch lock. I mentioned it before. The gun is actually called the switch lock. And with that, he's able to train to actually change up the type of barrel in the gun to fire different types of calibers of bullets, whether they be there's a round called the hoppers, for example. And hoppers are bullets when they hit something, they explode on impact, firing several more bullets out. He has a kind of napalm rounds. He has grenade rounds. He has supersonic rounds, which are kind of like if you're able to, because if the skin is so tough on these zombies are fighting, but their ears still work just like anybody else. So sometimes we'll fire that off in the air and kind of just to paralyze everyone, all the zombies where they are in their place, so to speak. So he's very prepared for. He's not Batman, but he's not a chump. He knows how. He's survived in this game for long enough to know how to fight these combatants.
I'm reminded of Outlaw Star with that gun.
Yes.
Oh man, that used to be cold. I'm like, oh, is he going busting out this episode? With
the caster shells. Of course, I know. I know that. Of course, yes, I watched it. Yes, I think his name Gene Starlin, whatever. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Oh, okay. He's like, I know what you're talking about. I watch anime.
Well, we're all blurred here.
Listen, so he's been training for a little while, combat skills. So not necessarily martial arts, maybe, but just kind of how to take care of himself.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah.
Now, strength-wise, he is a regular guy for the most part. So I'm assuming, at best, maybe not Mike Tyson, but is able to keep up with the best of them. I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, he can throw some hands. Yeah, he's definitely not a chump, but he's also not like the next super duper. Like I say, he's not Mike Tyson or what have you, or Roy Jones Jr. Nothing like that. Yeah.
Okay, so is he? What's he lifting then?
So he's 5'10". He's probably lifting, I'd say, max, like 250 to 300 or so.
Okay.
I mean, pretty much every day they don't really have the the distractions. It is a post-apocalyptic world, so they don't have the distractions that we do as far as sitting around eating a whole bunch of fried foods. He's obviously
Yeah,
gonna their
he's
lifestyle
cut.
have to be he's got to be somewhere cut. It's just how it is where they are. Yeah.
Speed then. I know we brought up Usain Bolt earlier. Is he running at that pace, or are we talking maybe college level track star? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's he at?
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably closer. He's probably closer to like I show speed as opposed to the cheetah he's racing or something like that.
Ah,
He is in shape. He's very much in shape. And again, if you're in order to, it's almost kind of some Darwinism in there in a sense. If you're able, in order to survive in this world, as long as you'd have to be some of the best, just by the cream will rise to the crop in order to survive in this world, so to speak. So
ooh,
he's a pretty solid athlete, but he's not really trying to be any kind of Olympic level.
got you. I'm cooked in this world. I definitely have a dad bod through and through. I do not make it through issue 1. I'm done. I am done.
You and me both. You and me. I'm a writer. There's a reason I'm a writer. There's a reason I sit in my room and write all day. Yeah.
Right? Because, man, I'm thinking about those Dawn of the Dead zombies, and I'm just like, no, that and World War Z. I'm like, nah, it's done. It's done. First off, why did they leave the mall? Why did they leave the mall?
Why? Also, it's a mall. It's fantastic. What's even worse is, of course, you've seen 28 days later, 28 weeks later, the rage virus ones. Those are they're designed to be angry. So
right. Now, I was gonna say this is off topic, but it's all zombies and stuff here. But they were literally decomposing and dying out. Like they had it together by the second movie, but that idiot in the second movie, you had to kiss your wife. She's infected. She's infected.
She is strapped down, grimy, clearly still very much need to be quarantined, and he can't help himself. He can't help himself. It just,
After leaving her at that, like, what are we doing?
after full-fledged abandoning his wife,
Jesus. All right. So sorry.
Please apologize. Spoiler alert for 28 weeks later.
28, right. So talk to me about intelligence. Although he's an enforcer, I'm sure he's, again, like you said, in order to survive, you can't necessarily be you can't be dumb out here.
Right.
So what are we looking at?
Yeah, he's definitely, I mean, he's more clever and savvy, especially in this world. Again, he's not Batman or 12th level intellect, nothing like that, but he knows how to handle himself in very, very rough situations, very rough scenarios. There is in this world, not to get too far into spoilers again, but there's a person who actually created the virus, the disease that happened, that kind of spreads from a fallout. And he has labs that he's kind of created trying to deal with this. And Ash is able to survive the traps and use them to his advantage in these labs. So if you could imagine someone like not Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific is way up there, obviously, but he's able to handle himself against severely powerful, strong forces with just his intellect as far as how to negotiate weaponry and everything else like that. For example, Mr. Terrific doesn't have any kind of actual super abilities either. He's just very smart with what he has at his disposal.
So, okay. And when you were bringing up like the traps and stuff, I was immediately thinking about Mr. Miracle, I think his name is.
Yes.
Scot-free? Yeah, I was like, okay.
It's the master escape artist, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah. So probably comparable to that, where it's just like real quick look around the room. All right, I'm out this way.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah. I guess by the nature of it, they are survivors. That's what they do. To exist in this world, you have to learn how to survive. You go in like Jason Bourne, 3 exits as you walk into a room, so to speak.
Fair enough. Okay. No, I'm using that as an example too. Jason Bourne. Actually. Okay. So durability, again, regular guy, but we're talking about somebody that has learned to survive in this world, fighting against these monsters, zombies, if you would, right? That are able to hit pretty heavy. So what kind of blows is he able to withstand?
Sure. So his actual natural physical body is like you or me. However, they wear gear. They are geared up. So they actually have like a really sophisticated kind of a Kevlar and tech vest that they rock. They have reinforced military boots that they wear, things of that nature to kind of protect them because they've all been battered around by obviously these brutish zombies that they're battling. But the gear he has on helps him sustain himself a little better.
Okay. So human, and now we did, again, we already touched on combat strength. So trained at birth, not necessarily martial arts, but kind of a brawler. Let's get into, again, foolish questions. I know this is a grounded character. Energy projection. It's a regular guy, so I kept saying it may be a foolish question, but just to reconfirm, he's not shooting ki blasts or nothing like that, right?
No, no. Unfortunately, he can't do key blasts or energy waves, nothing like that. No.
Okay. Noted, noted. Okay. Let's get into that agility then. Obviously, again, trained. He's not necessarily clumsy, but what all are we talking about? He ain't got ultra instinct, right? But like, what is he working with in regards to agility?
Sure. It's more or less kind of like he's like a super trained survivor. So we've all talked about what we're doing is a zombie outbreak. These are people who survived zombie outbreaks for generations, so they are that much more. Their survival instincts are that much heightened, and of course, their abilities with their being able to, of course, physically survive physically demanding situations, they are much better at them. No, he is not like a super soldier, what have you, but he's definitely a more capable athlete in that regard. It's, just from having to survive in this world for so long.
Okay. And now, last but not least, we did talk a little bit about equipment. He's got the hoppers, he's got supersonic rounds, Kevlar tech vest, military boots. Now, when you say tech vest, give me a little bit more. What are we referring to? What all can his vest? What all is he equipped with his vest?
Sure. So it's one of those things where the vest in of itself may look like a regular vest, but it's designed to withstand a mass like the PSIs it can handle are a lot better than what they were used to in our world because again, it's meant to be able to survive the massive the blows from these zombies who hit like a tank essentially. They're not literally a tank, but their punches are very, very, very strong. They're not full blown Hulk level punches, of course, but they are strong enough to like these guys, like you said, they can pick up cars. There's even the first issue we see where where one of them is literally a car speeding at him, and the zombie throws the car as it hits him like a linebacker. So they are very, very strong, very, very tough. So the gear that these enforcers are wearing has to be able to withstand, battle damage from them.
From that, okay. And now, also, then, does he going? His standard kit then going into battle. Of course, obviously the gun, the hoppers, the supersonic rounds. Any other rounds in particular that he's bringing into battle with him?
Sure. So they don't have I mentioned the grenade rounds. He can fire like a grenade launcher from his gun, but they do have grenades themselves. So they have actual standard level like shrapnel round grenades. They have actual smoke grenades, and they do have sonic grenades on them too.
Okay, so he's got the supersonic rounds and he's got grenades.
Yeah, even like the flashbang ones as well. If you've ever played or heard of Resident Evil. Grenades, they use those as well here. Pretty much anything that gives them it. Sometimes, of course, the grenades aren't meant to actually kill the enemies they're fighting. Sometimes it's just a matter of being able to disorient them long enough for them to escape.
Okay,
anything that would help them in that regard.
Now, if I remember, he had a vehicle. Is that like a standard issue vehicle that he had, or is that something that's also kind of built for the situation?
It is a standard issue vehicle, but as opposed to being like a regular, 5.0 Popo car, it is meant to be. It's actually it's been for off-roading as well. Being able to handle the roads here aren't always the most paved and smoothest roads, so it is a much more durable kind of a 4x4 crossover vehicle that he drives, like a Subaru Crosstrek or Dodge Durango or what have you, that kind of vehicle.
Okay. So, what is because we have everything, so everybody watching and listening, all that other good stuff. We have Slate and Ash now. We've got the a zombie or the undead, and we got an enforcer here. And in the case of when we do a versus match or creator clash for the in-season scenario, they will be tag teaming. They will be working together. And of course, you did mention, right, that this is kind of the relationship and the banter and how they're going to be is similar to that of a Rush Hour situation. By the end of the series, this is kind of spoiler. How much time have they had together? If at all, of course, for anybody that's maybe spoilers or what have you. But how well do Slate and Ash potentially, or have they worked together?
Sure.
How effective are they essentially?
So over the first 6 issues, the first main story arc, they've been together for 48. It's roughly about 48 hours, like roughly 2 days, or essentially. It's not too much time, but over the course of those 2 days, they've obviously gotten much closer. They've had to rely on each other multiple times through, pretty genuine life or death scenarios. So they've kind of, I'm sure you've had plenty of friends. You get closer to somebody, the more adverse the conditions you are together, like a bit like an old war buddy, so to speak. And so that level of stress and that level of trust they've had in those scenarios, they become full fledged, like almost like brothers, for the most part.
Oh, trauma bonded.
Trauma bond, exactly.
Okay. So, man. So I know I mentioned there was a character that I wanted to see, or characters that I wanted to see them go against. We had a lot of kind of team ups last season. There's these characters, character named Tex Wyatt from Zeta Galaxy Outlaws. And there's an unlikely kind of team up between her and another character that I think I want to see. Now, obviously, although it's more grounded, it's, definitely more futuristic, right? So you got a post-apocalypse in Slate and Ash, but then you kind of had this Cowboy Bebop-esque situation there. But again, still very grounded characters. One of them has a upgraded handgun, if you will. So yeah, I can, but she's clumsy, right? She's trained, but she's not as trained as, say, Ash and stuff. So it'd be a very interesting dynamic. So in case you don't know, also, we do a randomizer wheel at the end of the season. What ends up happening is whatever characters pop up, I then write a scenario based on all the information, the breakdowns, all that other stuff.
Man, that sounds dope. That sounds cool.
Yeah. And the key, and again, slight tangent, we're going to get back to the meat and potatoes here, but the key always that I find in versus matches, again, it just for a lot of people, it just turns into two action figures just bashing at each other, right?
Right.
The key, I think, in my mind, when it comes to I know that the goal here is to make sure that all the characters stay in character. Death Battle was great. They do a lot of research. They put a lot of work in. I think the part that's always missing is that personality, or it's there initially and they kind of over exaggerate something that happened in an offshoot book. No, like what's the consistent? What's sort of the consistent? Obviously, it's Death Battle, so people got to get killed. But like realistically, some of these characters are not going to kill their opponent for real. So anyway, that's their niche. They're doing a fantastic job. But for us, again, it's one of those like, hey, is that the standard kit? Slate's not going to bust out a bazooka all of a sudden. Like he's not going to. Oh, he has a car now, but now all of a sudden, because they made it to a safe house somewhere, now all of a sudden it's the spy hunter vehicle. Like, no, hold on.
Right now.
So it's, especially with indie, and again, we kind of talk about this a lot. I think a big thing is harping on the canon feats. Obviously, we don't have 100 years of history to pull from, but I think it just makes it that much more important to really sit down and examine and get to understand one another's characters through this. Like, yeah, versus is the icebreaker, but getting to understand who that character is in the very limited space that we get the character. So yeah.
And that makes sense too. Yeah, because again, we are not taking Slate, for example, 25 years from now when he's like a much thicker, bigger zombie. No, this is him how he is now. So of course he won't be as tough as somebody else. So yeah, that the context doesn't matter. I completely get that.
Yeah, context. Thank you. That's such a concise way of saying that. Yeah, the context is so important. Last example of that, right? We were talking to the past. It was just like a lot of people will try to be like, oh, well, in 10 issues, my guy is gonna. When we met Goku, he was a monkey boy in the woods. Don't tell me 30, 40 years from now he's gonna have Ultra Instinct. I don't know what that is yet. That doesn't matter now. What is he now? And let us grow with that character. So if your character doesn't win against another character, cool. We'll revisit it or have you face somebody else another day.
It is something that you know yourself, Lloyd. You've been a writer and creator for years and everything. It's weird how, this is no offense to new writers or creators, but they typically they love the characters so much that they believe they have to always win. They don't want to have them looking bad, so to speak. And you realize as a actual that's what endears an audience to your character that much more, is seeing them take L's, seeing how they deal with adversity, seeing them actually have to struggle. That's what makes them better characters overall. So I definitely don't mind having my boys take an L. That's part of the fun, and seeing how they come back from them later on.
I'm speaking with the kindred spirit here. Thank you for saying that. Oh my goodness. So yeah, there's but you know what? Even with that being said, I see it as an area opportunity. Like, hey, exactly what you just said. Like, it's okay. Let them grow. Let them grow. I think that's what the not obsession, but I think that's we are so off topic, but not at the same time. But I think that's why Batman initially got the notoriety that he did, and we, fans just kind of took it and continued to go left field with it. But he was a regular guy, able to figure out a means to keep up with these aliens and superpowered beings and gods, if you would. He had the ingenuity, he had the wherewithal, he had the capacity to figure out alternative methods of succeeding in the mission. Then it just turned into, with prep time, he could do anything. No, but it's a funny joke. He has done some crazy things, but the reason why there was a steady progression, there was he's still just a guy. How is he going to do it? But I feel
he lost plenty of fights too. I mean, it wasn't just Bane that broke his back. He's been severely messed up before. I mean, you see, there's that old Alex Ross book where it showed him he had his shirt off and he had countless scars all over his body. He's been through it. He's been through it, and that's what makes him a much more compelling character. One thing too that happens is, I know in real life, and not you because you're perfect, but for me, I've made countless mistakes, and I've learned lots of times from my mistakes. So that's kind of the same way you treat characters. If you treat your characters actually like characters as opposed to caricatures, that should come across.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, yeah, we're gonna talk a lot offline.
I'm sorry, we're off topic. Sorry about that. My bad.
No, you're fine. No, we definitely gotta talk after this. Oh my gosh, I have stuff to tell you. So, but if you would, because we're sort of at the end here. So Kickstarter going on right now. That includes the characters that we were talking about today, Slate and Ash, and all the rest of your flagship titles. You said 5 issues of each one. Did I hear that right?
I'm sorry. It's the first issue of our main 5 flagship.
Okay, got you.
So Slate and Ash, Ipswich, Blackmore, Briarlands, and of course Captain Diesel's Reaper. I'm sorry.
Okay, still outstanding. 6,000 goal. End of June is when it ends. Again, we'll have the link and stuff all in here. I will try to make sure to get this breakdown done of these characters. I'll get it approved by you, and then we'll try to have that out as soon as possible. As soon as this video is edited, we're going to go ahead and get that posted and stuff like that. Hopefully by Monday. Not this Monday. Next Monday.
No worries.
Maybe sooner. But yeah, so we have a game plan to get that up and running. Any last thing that you want to tell the people where they can find your stuff, where they can find y'all, and what's next potentially?
Yeah, of course. So we have, for those who don't know, the way that Echelon Graphic Novels works is we do make a lot of our own in-house books and series. However, we also, most people, just about everyone, I'm sure for you too, Lloyd, everyone that we've met, everyone that we know in our sphere, people that we know just walk of life. I'm sure your kids upstairs playing video games with their nieces and nephews. Everyone has a story to tell, but most people have no idea how to tell it. And what Echelon Graphic Novels does is, if you come to us with an idea, we'll find a way to help your story bring it to life, bring your vision to life. We have the writers in place, we have the artists in place, we have the graphic designers in place, colors, everyone there in place. So if you want to have your book made, please come to us. We'll do everything we can to have that happen. If you already have a script done, great. If you don't have any script done, we'll write it for you. If you have an artist in place but need other assets, we have it all there for you. We have all the resources there to help you make your vision come to life.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And after this Kickstarter, then what's next for y'all?
Sure. So one of the partners on our team as well, Liv, we're working on her book next. And her book is called, she won't mind me releasing some of these details. It's the series is called The Motions, and it's pretty much like Inside Out meets trying to the best thing to compare it to. It's almost like a grown up version of Inside Out. As far as people dealing with legitimate trauma and how they navigate that, and that's kind of seeing it through the emotions they feel, as opposed to just the kind of the casual thing. It's meant to be. It actually has some psychological studies involved with it, and it's a really really cool series. It's being illustrated by Eder Messias, who is he's actually a pretty big name in Marvel. He did a lot of the Black Panther series. He did Captain America, Captain Falcon, that series where Sam Wilson was like Captain America recently.
Yeah.
He did work on Supernatural and at Dynamite and Boom Studios. So he's a very, very big name in the industry. And he'll be doing that with us. I've known him since he was like a kid. And so he's going to be on our book with us for that. So that's the next big flagship series coming out from our company. But again, we have several clients. I think we have 15 clients. And they're all, several books are coming out this year from them. We have a book, Western called Dig Two Graves, which is coming out. We have the Ashes Over Neon book I mentioned before, which is very much, kind of cyberpunk, underground hip hop music and everything era. We have another book called The Legend of Halleck and Sam, which is about a father and son. It's kind of like it's very akin to Mario, and when they travel through another dimension, and the father and son are working together to fight against other like zombies and monsters for this on behalf of this princess. So pretty much anything and everything you want to explore in storytelling and indie storytelling and kinds of books made by Blurs for Blurs is going to be there for you.
Okay. Dang. Okay. Listen, we trying to get like, so obviously, as you guys know, we haven't for real. I mean, we did the midnight showcase for our interns, and they released their own books, but like publishing all those folks it feels daunting, but like y'all are doing the work. That's amazing. So we're not there yet. So one day we would get like y'all on that.
Y'all are doing, because I mean, spoiler alert for y'all. Y'all did an amazing campaign recently too, where you raised all kinds of money. Your books, have you seen the quality of your books? Jeez, you are not like that at all. Like I said, if I can become anywhere near to being as handsome, as pretty, and as beautiful as y'all when I grow up, I'd be very, very happy. Like listen, just half is pretty.
Jesus, thank you though. But no, thank you for coming on. Long time coming. Definitely again, we'll have this posted up. And of course, your social media handle, real quick, Echelon G Novels.
Yes, the company one, I believe, yes, Echelon X Novels.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Instagram one. My personal one is Echelon G Novels.
Okay.
So should make two different ones. But either one of those, we fine. Hit us up on Instagram that way. Yeah, find us. And of course, the email as well. If you want to email us, echelongnovels@gmail.com. Our website is just echelongnovels.com. So yeah, feel free to hit us up anytime.
Okay. Well, Ethan, thank you for coming on. Everybody that's watching and listening, of course, be on the lookout. Head on over to indiebreakdown.com. Watch the breakdown after this. Ideally, I'll have this up by the time this is up. Check that out. Of course, we have a Facebook page, Instagram page, and a Facebook group. All Indie Breakdown /verses. There's not really any other indie breakdown, so you should just be able to find that accordingly there. And just like we said previously at the beginning of the show, this is the only spot that's doing what we're doing here, getting the interviews, doing the breakdowns, and then turning around and doing a scripted out versus matchup there for you. But the point is, people always try to find Black comics as far as what we're hearing, right? There's a lot of talk about Black comics, the need for it, and where to find it. If we can help make that process a little easier for somebody, we've done our job. So please continue to check this out. Check out all the wonderful creators that we've interviewed. Check out all the amazing characters in the database. Watch all the breakdowns and let them know that you enjoyed their stories or enjoyed learning about the characters. Again, yeah, we've created a hub, but the ball is now in your court to go and support the creators, read the books, and again, not only buying and reading the books, but take that extra step and let them know your thoughts on the books and let your friends and family know, because the only way we all continue to grow, that we can continue to come out with these amazing stories and get our voices out there and inspire others. So anyway, before I hop on my soapbox, again, I'm Lloyd Jones with the Indie Breakdown. Thank you guys for tuning in. Also, thank you guys for helping us recreate power scaling in the indie world, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Yeah.